It happened fast, too fast for anyone to stop it. In the dead of night, Ukrainian drones crossed into Russian airspace and struck a major train station, leaving behind chaos, fire, and confusion. What followed wasn't just another attack. It was a clear signal that this war has entered a new, unpredictable phase. People woke up to the sound of explosions echoing across the region. Videos began flooding social media. Flashes of light, smoke rising from what appeared to be a key rail junction deep inside Russian territory. Within hours, officials confirmed what many already suspected. Ukraine had hit a strategic Russian train hub, a vital route used to transport fuel, weapons, and troops to the front lines. But here's where it gets even more shocking. This wasn't a random strike. According to analysts, the target was carefully chosen, a supply artery that keeps Russia's military machine running. By disrupting this line, Ukraine has potentially slowed down Russian logistics in key sectors of the conflict, and this changes everything. Let's break down what actually happened and why it matters far more than it seems on the surface. Reports suggest multiple drones were launched from Ukrainian-controlled territory late in the evening. Russian defense sources claim that air defenses intercepted several drones, but at least 2 made impact. One drone reportedly struck a fuel storage area, causing a massive fire that burned for hours, while another hit the station infrastructure, damaging tracks and halting all rail movement in and out of the area. Eyewitnesses described the scene as something out of a movie, debris scattered across the tracks, emergency crews rushing to contain the flames, and soldiers scrambling to secure the area. The Russian Ministry of Defense quickly labeled the strike a terrorist attack, while Ukrainian sources stayed silent, as they often do when it comes to cross-border operations. But military experts see a clear message here. Ukraine is stepping up its long-range drone warfare capabilities, and it's hitting deeper than ever before. This is part of a growing trend. Over the past few months, Ukraine has been using low-cost, high-impact drones to strike critical infrastructure targets inside Russia: oil refineries, ammunition depots, power plants, and now train stations. The goal? To stretch Russian logistics thin and force Moscow to divert resources away from the front lines. And the timing of this strike is no coincidence. Just as Russian forces intensify their offensives in eastern Ukraine, Kyiv seems determined to hit back where it hurts most: supply and fuel. Every destroyed train car, every halted delivery adds up to one thing: pressure. Now let's talk about the broader impact. This attack didn't just damage property, it struck a psychological nerve. For months, Russians have felt somewhat insulated from the full weight of the war. But each new strike brings the conflict closer to home. Videos of fires burning on Russian soil spread rapidly online, shaking public confidence and showing that no target is truly safe anymore. And that's exactly what Ukraine wants: to remind Russia and the world that this war is not one-sided. Analysts say this drone strike could also mark a turning point in how wars are fought in the 21st century. Cheap, fast, and difficult to intercept, drones are rewriting the rules of modern conflict. A single drone, worth maybe a few $1,000s, can now inflict millions in damage and disrupt entire supply chains. Think about that. A small, buzzing machine can now shift the balance of power, and that's both fascinating and terrifying. Meanwhile, Russia has vowed to respond. Officials in Moscow have already promised severe consequences and hinted at retaliatory measures. We've heard this kind of rhetoric before, but with tensions this high, even a small miscalculation could escalate quickly. This strike also puts pressure on Ukraine's allies. The U.S. and NATO countries have repeatedly urged Kyiv to focus on battlefield targets rather than deep strikes inside Russia. But from Ukraine's perspective, these operations are a matter of survival, cutting off fuel and supplies that directly feed the Russian war machine. So, is this a risky move? Absolutely. But is it effective? Also, yes. The international response so far has been mixed. Western analysts call it a bold and strategic attack, while others warn it could provoke an even more aggressive Russian response. And as usual, the truth probably lies somewhere in between. a high-stakes gamble that may pay off or push the war into darker territory. Now, let's look at the human side of this story. Behind every explosion, there are lives disrupted, families living in fear, soldiers pushed to exhaustion, and civilians caught in the middle. This drone strike, like so many others, reminds us that while governments play their geopolitical games, it's ordinary people who feel the consequences most. And perhaps that's the hardest part to grasp. Amid headlines and breaking news alerts, it's easy to forget the cost of war, not in statistics, but in stories. So what happens next? Expect Russia to tighten its air defenses around key transport and industrial zones. Expect Ukraine to keep pushing the limits of its drone technology, likely with more precise, longer-range strikes in the future. And expect global tensions to keep rising as both sides test each other's resolve. We're watching a war evolve in real time, one that's being fought not just on battlefields, but in the skies, in cyberspace, and in the global information arena. This latest strike on the Russian train station is more than just another headline. It's a warning shot, a message, and a preview of what's coming if diplomacy continues to fail. The world is holding its breath, waiting to see what happens next. Because one thing is clear, the longer this war drags on, the closer it edges toward a point of no return. And that's why staying informed matters more than ever. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel for daily updates, like the video to support independent analysis, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Ukraine's drone strikes are a smart move, or are they pushing the world closer to a dangerous escalation? Let's talk about it. Because understanding what's really happening, that's how we stay ahead of the headlines. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more breaking updates right here.